It's a new day in the workroom. I'm walking in here the survivor of the first ever lip sync slay-off. I lost 2 lip syncs against 2 of the better lip syncers, Kazumi and Blacephalon. But I did survive the final lip sync, the one that matters the most between me and Miss Finster. Oh, I miss her so much already. We were getting along so well. It just seems that every queen I'm bonding with they soon go home. First it was my drag mother, Queen Zectonia, then Mike, who technically I wasn't close with, but he's a close friend of my dad's, then Goldine, which to be honest I didn't like her anyway. But now Miss Finster. Maybe I need to stay close with Ivy, and hopefully RuPaul gets jealous and kicks her off the show. Haha, a queen can dream.
I'm walking in today in such a great mood. I went from the bottom in the girl group challenge to the top 2 last week, just missing out on the actual win because of Kazumi. That bitch pulled out all the stunts for our lip sync, and I don't blame her. But we are in a new week, and unfortunately Miss Finster is not with us, but Ivy is. I got the taste for the top 2 spot, but that's not good enough. I want more. I want to be a winner. I should have had at least 2 wins by now, because I learned a lot from one of my drag mothers, Cynthia, but I haven't been able to show what I can do, because of one queen who I will not name. She's not here, and it's time to focus on the challenge ahead and make Cynthia proud.
It's a new day in the workroom, and I am on cloud 9 right now. I am currently the front runner with 3 wins, the first queen in this competition to get 3 wins, and I wouldn't have gotten my 3rd win if it wasn't for Abby, Ivy, and Glacian. Thank you for not being better than me in a lip sync, huh? But I can't be so sure I'll stay a front runner. Anything can happen in this competition, and I cannot underestimate these queens. They're all so talented, and I can honestly see any of us getting this crown. All it takes is one slip up and you're in the bottom. Maybe we can have a dance challenge, RuPaul, so I can get a 4th win, haha. Wishful thinking, I know. But whatever we have lined up today, I'll be ready. We did not have a little birdie in Untucked last week to let us know what we will be doing, so it could honestly be anything.
The queens gather in the workroom, and they congratulate Kazumi for getting her 3rd win, then they congratulate Abby for surviving the lip sync. They thank them. Marshmallow looking around the room and said, "It's getting really empty in here, isn't it?" Alice nods and said there's only half of them left standing. Ivy asked which premier has the most queens remaining. Blacephalon starts counting and said that Premier 2, with Abby, Glacian, Blacephalon and Ivy. Ivy nods and said they're much better than the Premier 1 queens. Alice just laughs.
Are we surprised that Premier 2 is the better Premier Queens? Because there's 4 of us standing, whilst there's only 3 of them, Marshmallow, Kazumi and Alice. And speaking of Alice, I don't know what she finds so funny when she's been presented with the receipts. I'm going to have to ask her what she finds so hilarious.
Ivy looking to Alice and asks her what's so funny. Alice, still laughing, said, "It's funny you claim that Premier 2 is better than the Premier 1 queens because of how many of you are left in the competition." Abby nods and said, "Yeah, we are better." Marshmallow also laughing and said, "How many wins do y'all have between you?" Abby said 3. Alice, Kazumi and Marshmallow chuckle. Alice said Kazumi alone has the same amount of wins as the 4 of you put together. Ivy just rolls her eyes.
I find it hilarious that Ivy is claiming that the Premier 2 queens are better than the Premier 1 queens. And I've just proven that she is full of crap. They have 3 wins between them. Well, 3.5 if we are counting Glacian's top 2 placement last week. Whilst Kazumi has 3 wins alone, then there's me with 2, and Marshmallow with 1, that's 6. We have double their wins, plus Miss Finster's win, that's 7. We have the talent and they have the numbers. I wouldn't be surprised at all if myself, Kazumi and Marshmallow were the final 3 queens remaining in this competition, to be honest.
Blacephalon said that Premier 2 wins hands down because they did not have Goldine. They all laugh.
It's pretty obvious that Premier 2 is better because we didn't have Goldine on our Premier. I'm kidding, of course. I'm not a fool and say our Premier queens are better, because like Alice said, we have 3 wins between us. Whilst Kazumi has 3 for just herself. It's crazy, honestly. I haven't seen a win since Snatch Game. And I am hungry for another. I really would love another comedy challenge, even a roast. I just hope we don't have a challenge where we have to dance again, because I might just pull a Lola and walk out halfway through, haha. I'm kidding, of course, RuPaul, I wouldn't do that.
Abby asks everyone what their first time in drag was like. Marshmallow said it felt like the universe finally snapped into place. The heels were high, the wig and waist was snatched, and the streets were never the same since, and she was born ready. Blacephalon said that's sickening, and said his first time in drag he looked a mess. Ivy chuckling said not much has changed then, they all laugh.
Blacephalon said he looked a mess when he started drag, and not much has changed I fear. But the moment I stepped into drag for the first time, it was not simply an indulgence, it was destiny. The weight of my gown, the flourish of my movement, the command in my presence, they were not new sensations, but rather, an evolution of my power. Drag is not just beauty, it is conviction, it is grace under fire, and above all, it is an art only the worthy may wield.
Glaceon said her first time in drag was awful, she couldn't do her own makeup at the time, she could barely style a wig, and her outfits were actually from the H&M clearance section. Abby said so Goldine wasn't lying? Glaceon laughs, and said she was because her drag is no longer sponsored by H&M clearance. Alice curious asked Glaceon how did she meet her drag mothers.
Oh yeah, I forgot Glaceon has 2 drag mothers. I'm so jealous I don't have any. Oh wait, my bad, I forgot about Queen Sectonia for a moment. Oops, sorry mother if you see this.
Glaceon tells the queens she was performing at her gig in Sinnoh, and Evie hot off of season 3 was booked to perform. Then Glaceon tells them that once she finished her number she bumped into Evie backstage who was watching her, and she told her she got something in her that Evie once had, and she needs someone to bring it out of her, and then she offered to be her drag mother, and Glaceon said to the queens she accepted in a heartbeat, and they've been the best of friends ever since.
I owe Evie a lot, to be honest. She's been there for me when I was at my lowest, and when I was at my highest. The first time I met her she watched me perform, and then I bumped into her as I was going to the changing room. She stopped me and said, "You've got something, darling. The way you move, the way you hold yourself, even in uncertainty, there's power in you. You just need someone to bring it out." That night, I wasn't just performing, I was discovered. She saw what I hadn't yet realized, and from that moment, she took me under her wing. She taught me how to refine the rawness, how to wield my presence, and how to own the stage, not just with beauty, but with absolute confidence. She wasn't just a mentor, she was family.
Marshmallow looks to Glaceon and said you need people like that in your life, and she's so grateful for the Belcher family, they've been her rock, they helped her get off the streets, and Linda got Marshmallow a job. Alice looking to Marshmallow and said that's so incredible of Linda. Marshmallow thanks Alice and said Linda is her rock, her soul, and one of her best friends.
Honestly sugars, I would not be the person I am today if it weren't for the Belchers, Linda and Bob specifically. They helped me get off the streets, and Linda said I could live with them for a while until I got enough money for my own place. I've never known such kindness from people, because I've been hate crimed so much as a proud black trans woman of the night. I've lost count how many times I had slurs thrown in my direction. And I owe my whole drag career to Linda. She encouraged me to try drag to find myself, and I did. But I honestly love the Belchers so much, and when Linda gets back on All Stars I will be her biggest supporter, and that's not an if, that's when. She deserves to come back.
Ivy looking around and said it's actually really good hearing all your stories of having a drag family and friends who support you, because she don't have any support. Glaceon said maybe that's why you're such a bitch. Ivy laughs and said probably. A producer tells the queens to get ready for the mini challenge.
Wow, after hearing all these stories of friends and family, makes me miss my drag family back home, the House of Nimbasa. Elessa, Gardevoir, Magiarna, Amphros, and the rest of you, I love you all. But we do have a mini challenge, and that can only mean one thing, an advantage, and this could be a roast order perhaps? I'm excited.
Alice wins the mini challenge and will get an advantage for the Maxi challenge.
Ugh, of course Alice won the mini challenge, why wouldn't she? She's such a tryhard.
Oh wow, I won the mini challenge. I can see the look on Ivy's face when I got revealed, it's priceless. Yes, that's another win for Premier 1 Queens by the way. Anyway, I get an advantage, and last time I got to assign roles for the Rusical, I took a risk with the Babadook in the horror Rusical. But this late into the competition, I cannot take any more risks, and lately they haven't been in my favor.
Hello, hello, hello!
Here comes RuPaul, looking amazing as always. It's always great to see her, of course, and I think she's been impressed with what I've been bringing to this competition. I mean, I have 3 wins, so I must be doing something right. Can I get a 4th this week? Hopefully, haha.
My queens, wow, there's so few of you here. You are the top 7 of this competition, and as I always say, the competition is really starting to heat up. Because your Maxi challenge this week, you will be acting.
Acting? Really? Well, Alice is about to get her 3rd win, isn't she? Why the hell is there an acting challenge? I thought I was RuPaul's favorite. Where is the runway challenge for me?
Oh RuPaul, you incredible queen. This week's Maxi challenge we are acting, and this is my bread and butter. I am an actress. Well, I also major in musical theatre, but acting is the one for me. I am so excited for this challenge and I am so ready for this challenge. Get me that script, and I think my advantage is going to be role assigning again. Even better for me.
Now I was asked last week by our special guest Lola, where was Daphne? I said she's busy solving the mystery of why Celia May went crazy. And now we will find out, because you will be acting in the new screenplay of Whatever Happened to Celia May. And Alice, you will assign the roles. Now good luck and don't fuck it up. I will see you on the runway.
Now sugars, this is a wild challenge. What happened to Celia May? Well, let me tell you, she lost her Tony Award to my trans sister, Ida Davis. She then turned up at our trans rights protest outside the White House, threw paint at us. She then went on to All Stars 4 and she accused Daphne of favoring Thorne all season, to then being eliminated. Then Daphne got up from the judges' table, lip-synced against Celia with her job on the line, and sent her home in a lip-sync, keeping her job as All Stars judge. And then she got checked into a mental hospital. Now that's why Celia May went crazy. You're welcome. Do we really need this challenge now? Haha.
The queens are gathered back around and Alice asks them, are they wanting any roles in particular? Kazumi looking to Alice and asks what role is she going for. Alice said she's going with one of the main roles, and that's Daphne. Ivy said she wants Daphne. Alice said too bad, she is playing her. Ivy annoyed said, why don't you take a risk and go Celia? Alice said it's too far into the competition to be taking such risks. Kazumi chuckling said Ivy would play a perfect Celia. Ivy said she don't want to be Celia. Marshmallow laughing said to Alice, give her Celia. Ivy tells her she don't want her. Alice smiling said that Ivy will be Celia. Ivy just shakes her head.
What a bunch of bitches. Honestly, I did not want Celia. I mean, who does, Mike? I really am so annoyed with Kazumi and Marshmallow for encouraging Alice to give me Celia. Those Premier 1 queens, aka Destiny's other children, are pissing me off. You know what, I'll take this role, well, mainly because I have to. But I will win this challenge as Celia and rub it in Alice's face.
Ivy's face, priceless. She didn't want the role. I mean, none of us want to be Celia, because she has many lines to learn. Alice thinks she's not taking a risk, but she is by choosing one of the main roles. But this is what Alice does best, and I have faith in her to do well in this challenge. There's not many roles in this challenge, but I think the best role for me would be Ida Davis, because I know her very well, and I think I can portray her well.
Alice looking to Marshmallow and asks her, is there a role she wants? Marshmallow said she would love to be Ida Davis because of their personal friendship. Alice nods and assigns Marshmallow Ida Davis. Then Alice looks to Kazumi and asks her who does she want. But before Kazumi could speak, Abby says to Alice she wants to be Thorne.
Is Abby for real? Jumping in like that? I didn't really want Thorne, but you know what? I think I'm going to take Thorne just because of Abby jumping in. I was going to take a minor role like one of the doctors at the mental hospital where Celia checked herself in, but Thorne will be a great choice. She's a winner, and I see myself in that Hall of Fame as well.
Look, I know what I did was a bit wild, especially when I know Kazumi could give me a German suplex, but there are not many of us here, and I need a role to stand out, and I think being Thorne, one of the main roles, would honestly be the best suited for me. I'm sorry Kazumi for jumping in. I probably won't get the role because I'm not part of Destiny's other children, but a queen's gotta do what she gotta do.
Alice looks to Abby and said she will see what role Kazumi wants, and if Kazumi doesn't want Thorne, then Abby can have her. Kazumi tells Alice she wants to be Thorne. Abby sighs and apologizes to both Alice and Kazumi for jumping in. Marshmallow said to Abby that probably cost you the role you wanted. Abby looks to Marshmallow and said she can see that. Alice then said to Abby she can see her as RuPaul. Abby nods and said yeah, why not, she is her favorite after all. They all laugh.
Okay, well, I didn't get the role I wanted, which I had a feeling was going to be the case, and then Marshmallow decided to let her voice be heard. But I was given the role of RuPaul, and it's quite fitting really. I am a favorite of hers, and it would be an honor to play RuPaul in front of RuPaul. But I hope I can pull this off, because if I flop in front of RuPaul, I probably will cry.
Alice then looks to both Glaceon and Blacephalon and said the only roles left are of the two doctors, and do they have a preference of which doctor they want? Glaceon said, does it really matter, they're both minor roles. Blacephalon looks to Glaceon and said one does have a more prominent role than the other. Glaceon asks Blacephalon if she can have that one. Blacephalon nods and said yes, you can have the role of Doctor Number 2. Glaceon thanks Blacephalon. Alice then says all the roles are assigned and it's time to get learning these lines. Abby agreed and everyone splits up to learn their lines.
So me and Blacephalon get the 2 minor roles in this challenge, which I personally think is not a great idea with only 7 of us here. Because Doctor 1, which is Blacephalon, has about 5 lines total, whilst me Doctor 2, I have about 10. But I get to share a big scene with Ivy, who is playing Celia. Oh, this is going to be a mess, I can feel it already.
I would have loved a bigger role, but unless you're jumping in on these queens, you get the roles you want. But I will happily take this minor role, and I will make sure I steal the scene every moment I can. I am going to be tapping into some serious acting skills, and I will prove it doesn't matter if you have a large role or a smaller role, make every moment on that camera count.
Alice, Kazumi and Marshmallow are going through their scripts. Alice asks Kazumi, did you really want to be Thorn before Abby jumped in? Kazumi laughing said no, not really, she wanted to be one of the doctors, because they're not a major role like Thorn. Alice said she would have given her the doctor role if she wanted it. Kazumi thanks Alice and said it's a little late now, but she will try her best. Kazumi then looks through the script and starts highlighting her lines. Marshmallow, noticing Kazumi's worry, asks if she's okay. Kazumi said she didn't think there would be so many lines, and said it's going to be hard for her to read all these lines because she's still learning how to read English.
Now I'm not a little worried. I'm very worried. After going through my script and I'm just highlighting line after line after line, there are a lot of lines for me to learn, and it will be a struggle. I'm still learning English. I can speak English pretty well, but reading it, I find a lot harder. I had the same problem with the Rusical, but I did not let that stop me, and I will not let this little hurdle get in my way. I will be leaping over this hurdle.
I do feel really bad for Kazumi, and I wish we could have her script in Japanese. Is there any way we can? No. Well, I'm going to be a sister and help Kazumi with her lines. I'm a natural when it comes to learning lines, so I don't think I will be jeopardizing my position in this competition by helping her.
Alice, looking to Kazumi and said she will help her go over her lines. Kazumi said she's so grateful but she needs to do it on her own. Alice said too bad she's helping her. Kazumi hugs Alice and thanks her. Marshmallow looking to Alice and said she really is a sister. Alice chuckling, said we are Destiny's other children after all. Marshmallow nodded and suggests they do a table reading of their own. Alice agreed and said to Kazumi when she's stuck just let her know she will help her. Marshmallow said she will also help as well, just let them know. Kazumi thanks them both and the 3 of them do a little table reading together.
Sugars, we just finished our table reading, and that was quite the struggle not only for Kazumi, but also for me. I fumbled a lot of my lines, I just forgot them. But Alice, oh my god, what a savior she is. She really helped me and Kazumi whenever we needed it. This should be pretty easy for us, because it's not like the Rusical. We are not dancing as well, we are just learning our lines, and I don't know why I stumbled on most of my lines. Maybe it's the nerves getting to me.
The table reading was interesting. Kazumi did struggle a lot, but I guided her through every time she needed it, and I was quite surprised with Marshmallow, she forgot some of her lines as well. But neither of them gave up. I think it's best we have a breather and do another table reading.
Marshmallow apologizes to both Kazumi and Alice for forgetting some of her lines. Alice said to her, don't apologize, it happens to all of us. Kazumi looked to Marshmallow and told her, don't be so hard on yourself. Marshmallow thanks them both and said should they do another? Alice said it's probably best and let's take it from the top. They all begin another table reading.
Well, that was a lot better actually. I think the first reading we were all nervous, but I think with some more rehearsals both Kazumi and Marshmallow will get there.
Glaceon and Blacephalon are going over their lines. Glaceon chuckling said we don't even have that many to rehearse, and said to Blacephalon should they start preparing their runways? Blacephalon said absolutely not, they need to nail these minor roles.
Glaceon can start getting ready for the runway all she wants. Yes, we haven't got as much lines to rehearse like the rest of these queens, but we need to figure out how we will steal the scene with so little screen time. And how exactly is Glaceon going to do that when she's applying makeup to her face?
Glaceon sighs and said Blacephalon is right, and how are they going to stand out in the challenge? Blacephalon said that's what they need to figure out, because it's easy to get lost. Blacephalon then asks Glaceon has she got any acting experience? Glaceon said no, not really, but she was acting like Goldine wasn't getting to her. Blacephalon looks to Glaceon and tells her this is where she is going wrong, and she really needs to move on from Goldine, because she's gone and Glaceon needs to focus on this competition if she wants to stick around longer. Glaceon said she was only joking, she's over her now. Blacephalon said, are you really? Because you keep mentioning her name. Glaceon just looks to him.
Look, I was only trying to crack a joke, but Blacephalon is right. I keep saying her name. If I continue saying it, she's going to appear like Bloody Mary. Goldine is out of my mind completely. I was going to start working on my makeup, but Blacephalon said we really need to work on trying to stand out in this challenge. It will be hard for us, because we barely have any lines. I may have not gone to acting school or have any acting experience, but I'm sure I can pull this off. I may not be RuPaul's favorite unlike some, but I am the daughter of Cynthia, you know.
Glaceon said she won't mention that queen again. Blacephalon asks who. Glaceon says Goal, then stops herself and said almost. They both laugh. Blacephalon suggests that they do a table reading between them both, so they can get into their characters. Glaceon agreed and they both begin their table reading.
Well, I decided it was best to do a table reading to learn our lines and get into character, and to be honest, Glaceon impressed me. Of course, we are not going to do just one, we will do multiple table readings to prepare for the upcoming challenge. I think we might have a good chance at being in the top, but that's before we step onto the set. Anything can happen. So I can't be too confident in our performance just yet. It could all come crashing down the moment RuPaul shouts action.
Abby and Ivy are rehearsing their lines. Ivy is still annoyed from earlier. Abby asks if she's okay. Ivy said no, she's not, she don't want to be Celia. Abby said she understands because she didn't want to be RuPaul. Ivy said they should switch. Abby, laughing, said absolutely not, she don't want Celia either. Abby then looks to Ivy and said she's the perfect one to be Celia, to be honest. Ivy asked her why would she think that. Abby, chuckling, said you've been obsessed and hating on Alice, just like how Celia was obsessed and hating on Daphne, and Alice is playing Daphne. Ivy looked to her and said you might be onto something.
Yes, maybe Abby is onto something. I probably am the only one remaining here who would play a great Celia. I've been hating on Alice the moment our two premieres were merged, and I just don't like her. She tries too much, and it's given her 2 wins so far, and too many challenge wins. But it's my time to score another win. I'm tapping into Celia's mind and I'm going to start accusing Cynthia of playing favorites with Glaceon. I'm kidding, of course, because if that was the case, Glaceon would have had a better run than she's currently got. I see her going home this episode, to be quite honest.
Ivy asks Abby why does she not want to be RuPaul? Abby said she scares her, and imagine flopping as RuPaul in front of RuPaul. Ivy said, if you do, you'll end up like Hello Kitty. Abby said not that please. They both laugh.
Poor Hello Kitty, she played RuPaul on the season 8 Snatch game and absolutely bombed it, and she was sent home for it, and I don't want that to happen to me. I cannot and will not bomb this challenge. I need to get into my RuPaul mode. Oh my god, I can't even do the laugh properly. I'm in my own head right now and I need to stop panicking. WWRD? What would RuPaul do? She would tell herself to silence her inner saboteur, and right now that's me. I'm my own saboteur.
Ivy said to Abby if she carries on overthinking, she will end up like Hello Kitty and they need to come together and get this rehearsal done, and get learning their lines. Abby agreed and apologizes to Ivy for overthinking. Ivy said don't apologize, it's easily done. Both Ivy and Abby start rehearsing their lines together.
Well, we had a decent rehearsal. I was very much Celia. I know I'm going to be the one to beat in this challenge. Abby, however, a mess. She was too in her head. Even though I tried to help her, she just couldn't focus during the rehearsal. So God help her during the actual challenge. She will need a miracle.
Alice, Blacephalon and Ivy slayed the challenge.
Wow, what a challenge. I loved it. I was in my element the moment RuPaul said action. I was embodying Daphne, and I did a great job. We were directed by RuPaul and Musa, and RuPaul told me she had no notes for me and that I was a natural.
I'm honestly not shocked at how well I did. My rehearsal went great, and then walking onto the set, seeing RuPaul and Musa in the director's chairs felt so real, and then Celia took over my soul googly bears. You just saying that made me cringe, but I do smell a second win coming my way. I'm overdue a fucking win.
Glaceon had a great performance.
I'm actually pretty proud of myself. I didn't forget my lines, even though I had about 10 of them, but me and Blacephalon took these minor roles and did our big one with them. Blacephalon overdid it a bit, but he still outshined some of the queens with the major roles. I tried to take it that far, but I knew how far I could push this character, and I'm happy with what I presented.
Kazumi Mishima and Marshmello had a good performance.
I am so grateful for Alice's and Marshmallow's help during our table reading, because I think things would have gone worse for me. I got through my lines, but it did take multiple takes. I really hope I am not lip-syncing tonight. I'm going to learn this lip-sync song, just so I can be prepared if I am in the bottom.
Sugars, that was such a terrible performance from me. I'm so ashamed of myself. I don't know what came over me. I stumbled on my words. I even forgot some lines. RuPaul, the mother that she is, she stopped production of the challenge to check on me, and that really helped me get through the rest of the challenge. I do think I am lip-syncing tonight. I do hope this gown I have brought can save me from lip-syncing, but I better start learning the song, because Marshmallow is not going home.
Abby Abominable had a bad performance.
I am absolutely pissed with myself. I let my inner saboteur get the best of me, and I was in my head throughout the challenge. I just froze. I could barely get any of the lines out. I just don't know what the hell happened out there. I am not Hello Kitty. I will not go home tonight.
On the runway, category is Mystery Inc. Couture. Glaceon had a great runway.
This runway means a lot to me. It's the outfit me and Cynthia created together before I left for Drag Race, and the judges loved it. While this has been a great night for me, the judges loved my performance in the challenge and they are living for my runway. I don't think I'm a winner tonight, but I think I'll be in the top.
Kazumi Mishima, Ivy, Blacephalon, Abby Abominable and Alice had a good runway.
I'm pretty happy with my performance in the challenge. I made the most of that minor role and I personally think I outshined the rest of these queens. And my runway tonight is sickening, very mystery in couture. I am serving up Daphne realness on this runway.
Marshmallow had a bad runway.
Oh God, the judges did not live for my gown at all. They hated it. I can't believe there's a possibility of me going home tonight. I think I am 100% in the bottom, but I just hope my Destiny's other children sister Kazumi is not there with me. It will hurt sending her home.
Welcome to the main stage of Cartoon Drag Race Season 12. Let me introduce to you our judges tonight. Up first, she is the fashion icon, and my right-hand gal, she is the Season 8 champion, she is Musa. Up next, she is the powerhouse of Cartoon Drag Race, she is the Season 11 champion, she is Cynthia. And our extra special guest judge, two-time acting challenge winner, lip sync assassin, and our All Stars 2 champion. She is Daphne. Welcome home, darling. This week we challenged our queens to act in Why Did Celia May Go Crazy? And on the runway category was Mystery Inc. Couture. Now racers, start your engines and may the best drag queen win. Now let the judging commence. Alice, congratulations, you are the winner of this week's challenge.
Oh my God, thank you so much. That's win number 3 for me, and win number 8 for Premiere 1. This win means a lot to me, winning the Rusical and an acting challenge, my two biggest strengths in my repertoire. If I don't get on Broadway after this season, then I'll be having some serious chats with some directors.
Ivy, Glaceon and Blacephalon, great job this week, you are all safe.
I'm so pissed. I should have had this win, not Mrs. Tryhard Alice. Of now Premiere 1 has 8 wins between them. It's unreal how annoying they are. I have no other words other than robbed.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy that myself and Glacian made these minor roles work and we both managed to be in the top. I do feel like I deserve the win here, but congrats Alice. She's just an incredible actress, so you can't be too mad.
Thank you. I'm 2 weeks in the top and I could cry. I actually have to thank Blacephalon for guiding me and helping me through this challenge. It means so much, and I am finally feeling like I am making both Cynthia and Evie proud. I love you, mothers.
Marshmallow, Abby Abominable, Kazumi Mishima, you are the bottom queens. Kazumi Mishima, you are safe.
Oh my God, thank you so much. That was so scary being that close to lip syncing for my life. To go from the top last week to almost in the bottom this week is wild, but I honestly am so happy for Alice that she won this challenge, because without her, I most definitely would have been lip syncing tonight.
Marshmallow and Abby Abominable, you are up for elimination.
The time has come for you to lip sync for your life.
Here I am in the bottom 2 lip syncing for my life again. I'm a little relieved I'm not stood next to Kazumi, because she would have wiped the floor with me. But I'm not counting out Marshmallow. That bitch is fierce. I lip synced 3 times last week, and I slayed each one. This is no different. Marshmallow, good luck, sister.
Sugars, I'm about to lip sync for my life against RuPaul's favorite. I'm going to need all the luck I can. I'm kidding, of course. Abby is a sickening performer. I was living for each and every one of her lip syncs last week, but it will be a shame to see her go tonight, because I know this song like the back of my hand, and I don't think she was even born when this song came out. Music, please.
The lip sync song is I Think We're Alone Now by Tiffany. Both Marshmallow and Abby slayed the lip sync.
Ladies, I've made my decision.
Marshmallow.
Shantae, you stay.
Abby Abominable, you are an incredible queen and an amazing performer. I love you, and I have one thing to say to you. You are born to do drag.
Now, sashay away.
Thank you so much for this incredible opportunity. RuPaul, thank you so much for bringing me here. And thank you for tuning into my live streams. I will miss you all.
This is Untucked.
The queens unwind and untuck. They congratulate Alice on her third win, and then they congratulate Marshmallow for surviving the lip sync. They thank them. Kazumi looking to Marshmallow and said that lip sync was so good. Marshmallow thanks her. Ivy asks Marshmallow, where was that energy when you lost a lip sync against Glaceon last week? Marshmallow chuckling said she went easy on Glaceon. She felt bad for her. Glaceon laughing thanks Marshmallow. Blacephalon looks to Alice and said, how does it feel having 3 wins? Alice tells the queens it feels incredible, and winning the acting challenge will hopefully open the doors for her when she leaves this competition. Ivy laughing said, you better get your headshots ready for next week when you go home. Alice chuckling looks to Ivy and said she will be gone before Alice will and blows her a kiss. Glaceon then asks Kazumi what was it like to touch the bottom. Kazumi said it was nerve-wracking, and said if she were to lip sync for her life she was ready, and then rips off her outfit revealing another outfit. They all laugh. Alice chuckling, said that's another win for Premiere 1 by the way. Both Marshmallow and Kazumi cheer. Ivy said she was robbed of the win but congrats Alice. Before Alice could reply, Daphne walks into Untucked. The queens welcome Daphne into Untucked. She thanks them. Daphne then tells the queens they all did such a good job in that challenge. Ivy said even Marshmallow and Abby? Daphne said yes, even Marshmallow and Ivy. Marshmallow thanks Daphne, and asks her what brings her to Untucked. Daphne tells the queens she's there to give them some advice and some lifting up. She then turns to Alice, and said she did such an incredible job as her, and she really deserved that win. Ivy coughs. Daphne chuckling, looked to Ivy and said she also played an incredible Celia and for a moment she thought she was actually here. They all laughed. Blacephalon tells Daphne she was actually here on the Rusical episode. Daphne shocked said really? The queens nod. Glaceon said that her boyfriend Mike was eliminated in front of her eye. Daphne chuckling said that's very evil of RuPaul, and Mike did nothing wrong, it was all Celia. Daphne tells the queens if this season doesn't work out for them, then try All Stars, it may work out better like it did for her. The queens then continue chatting and laughing with Daphne until a producer tells her it's time to go. Daphne exits Untucked. Just as she exits, a TV screen is rolled in. The queens are puzzled, and questioned what the hell they are looking at. Kazumi said that looks like Goofy's hat? Ivy agreed and said it looks cheap, it must be. Alice said she doesn't recognize anyone else. Marshmallow smiling said that's Linda Belcher's apron. Glaceon gasps and said that looks like Evie's ear. Alice tells the queens she knows what's coming. Kazumi asked Alice to spill, but Alice said she will keep it to herself. Ivy tells her whatever and they all continue drinking their cocktails.
Hey, squirrel friend. When one video ends, just open up another one. It's called binge viewing. Go ahead. I support you.